talk more about all of that later. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the third week. Yeah, third week of pink box or rosé box. We're tasting this guy. It's got a little, I don't know, rainbow M. Is that a little two gates that are on there? 2023 Weingut Schlossmuhlenhof Pinke Rheinhessen rosé. For anybody who speaks German out there, I apologize. Anyways, I don't really have much announcement except Wine Promise next Saturday. So pretty excited. I know we got some old timers who are making their first appearance. Looking at you, Cecilia. We got some people. And is that Andrea? Yep. I see you, Andrea. We have some people flying in, traveling. Looking at you, Phil, from Florida. So maybe a good time. We'll miss you, Dave T, but we'll make it happen. But yeah, so Wine Promise next Saturday. I do have like 6-7 spots left at this point. If you guys could help me sell that out, that'd be fantastic. So send it out to your neighbors, coworkers, friends, anybody who wants to get in on the action. Let me know, or let's have them buy the ticket. But yeah, we'd love to kind of sell out the last 6 spots. So help me get there. Otherwise, I don't really have any other announcement. The invoices went out yesterday. So let me know if you are, especially with the wine prom coming up next weekend. I really love to get this kind of wrapped up before all that madness begins. So if you are joining us, just pay the invoice. If you're not, just let me know so I can plan for it, do all of that. And in case you haven't heard, next month we're going back to Chile. So we're putting together a Chile box. There's some really fun stuff coming to that box. I have more tasting still happening, but yeah, already I'm pretty excited about the things that are looking quite promising. So yeah, there's that. Any questions about any of that? Wine prom, logistics, or next month, or anything before we get into the wine? And also, last but not least, I don't know, in case also this is quite fitting. I just heard this morning that the administration is cutting out a lot of funding, federal funding for a public radio stations, NPR as well as PBS. So anyways, I think it's fitting that this month we're donating to WAMU 88.5, which is our local NPR station. So if you want to donate alongside 6 Foot Wine Club, the links are right there in the chat box. Any questions? Cool. Hearing none, let's get into the wine, because this wine is delicious and I'm looking forward to drinking it. We're tasting this guy, 2023 Weingut Schlossmuhlenhof Pinke Rheinhessen Rosé is what we're tasting today. It's got there's like a little rainbow M on it. We have featured this wine before, like back in the thick of a pandemic. So it's been like 4 years since we've had this. But their cépage or assemblage, which is the blending percentage, changed a little bit. It has gotten a little bit darker, but I think I like this wine back then, but I think it's gotten even more delicious. A little different wine, but yeah, I think it was time to kind of pay a revisit, and especially for the theme of what we're doing this month, which is rosé box, and then this being a German rosé coming from arguably one of the coldest wine growing regions in the world. I thought this was quite fitting to kind of talk about that and contrast it against the 2 rosés that we tasted in the last 2 weeks, which come from very hot places, right? So anyways, let's start with the map. Here you go. Here's a map of Germany. I don't need to point out where Germany is in the world, right? We all know where Germany is. It's to the east of France, in case you were wondering. But anyways, here's a map of Germany. Berlin is over here. No, that's right. But as you can see, Oh, and then I meant to pull out other map, but I forgot to actually get that. But anyways, Germany, much of Germany is located above the 50th parallel, which is kind of the traditional northern boundary for wine growing, or at least a fine wine growing. It's kind of like a rule of thumb, kind of roughly understood kind of boundary. There are some places that get really close, like Champagne's right up there. I think Champagne's right at like 48. But a lot of Germany is actually located above the fifth parallel, which makes it one of the most northern fine wine growing regions in the world. And most countries' wine growing areas is called Anbaugebiete. They are clustered in the southwest, as you can see, in the along the French border, and then right across the border in France, this would be essentially Alsace. Hence, you go to Alsace and you see a lot of kind of a Germanic food influence as well as a language. There's a lot of German that's being spoken there. They eat a lot of sauerkraut and sausages and things like that. It's a kind of a interesting place where it's like half French and half German. And then wine kind of reflects that as well. A lot of Riesling being grown there. Yeah, it's basically right next to French border. Historically, top regions sprung up in the river valleys where the water kind of, if you look a little more closely, right? This is the Rhine River that flows through, that dumps out into the Strasbourg, which is in Alsace in France. So all the regions, as you can see, all the wine regions are essentially formed along the river. Because it being above the 50 parallel, it gets really fucking cold here. There's definitely a continental climate. In the winter time, I mean, it is savagely cold. So having this being near water has this moderating influence, at least on the temperature. So it tamps it down a little bit and makes the viticulture possible. But here's some areas that we've been to, right? We've had a box put together around Mosel, all the Rieslings that we found in Mosel. In my opinion, some of the best, if not actually the best Rieslings in the world come from this region right here in the world, which is Mosel. Yeah, this is all to say, Germany, and then as you come down a little bit further, there's Nahe, Pfalz. We've had some wines from Pfalz in the past. We have wines from Baden. We have wines from Württemberg as well. So we've kind of covered a lot of different places. But for today's wine, we are in Rheinhessen, which is right here in the middle, just southwest of Frankfurt. As you can see on the map, it is the biggest wine growing region of all of Germany. Fortunately or unfortunately, for the longest time, Rheinhessen was kind of considered, or it was associated with more quantity over quality. This is where, I mean, I don't think any of you are way too old. Maybe Phil, maybe in your younger days, Blue Nun, that blue bottle Riesling, the terrible Riesling that to this day plagues the Riesling sale in this country. That was made right here in Rheinhessen. So, that still plagues the whole area. Everybody kind of associates with these kind of like a plonk, industrial, commercial Rieslings and different wines. But these days, Rheinhessen is actually one of the most exciting areas. If you ask me, not only do the really like reputable producers like Weingut Keller, if you know, I mean, world-renowned, respectable winery. They actually make one of the most expensive bottles of dry Riesling that's produced in Germany, and it's made right here in Rheinhessen. It's called G Max, but they make it from an undisclosed vineyard here in Rheinhessen because they don't let anybody know where it is. There's also an association of like over 24 young and dynamic kind of winemakers here in Rheinhessen, calling themselves, obviously this is in German, and I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but in German, it means message in a bottle. And it's an association of winemakers who are really committed to raising the quality in this region in Rheinhessen. So, and it is also has the most number of different varieties grown in any of the wine regions in Germany. So it's a really exciting place. It's a fun place to keep your eye out on if you're a German wine lover. And yeah, I say watch out for the things that are coming out of Rheinhessen. It's pretty cool. within here, it's not on this map, but we are in a place called Württemberg. This is where this winery is located. And it kind of has this really cool microclimate because it's not actually right on the river. It's actually more inland, a little off the river, little hillside. It gets up on a 300-meter elevation. So not only is it in a cold place, but it also gets up on an elevation a little bit higher. It's one of the highest elevation vineyards in all of Rheinhessen. So it gives it this really good acidic backbone, but it kind of shields everything. That hillside, the mountainside on the left, kind of west, shields the rain, makes it a little bit more arid. And that microclimate is what makes this kind of a winery where this, or a vineyard where this winery is located, kind of unique, and gives it its own kind of little terroir, so to speak. Let's talk a little bit about who makes this wine. And by the way, we talk a lot about Riesling in Germany, but there are a lot of different things that are grown here. In case you didn't know, Pinot Noir, there's some fucking badass Pinot Noir coming out of Germany. I highly recommend that you seek out some German Pinot Noir. We've featured some German Pinot Noir here before. It's called Spätburgunder in Germany, in German. But, you know, to name a few, there are things like Silvaner, Schrube, Weissenburgunder, which is Pinot Blanc, Müller-Thurgau, which is one of the great varieties that's in this bottle, just to name a few besides Riesling. So I recommend that you get out there, find some German wines. Unfortunately, like you don't find a whole lot of German wines, especially anything outside of Riesling. All that readily available in many shops in America. But I think German wines are delicious. But you know, well, you all know that I'm an acid head. It's a cold place, so all the wines are really backed by this incredible acidic backbone and incredible minerality, which I really appreciate. All right, let's get into who makes this wine. This is the guy. This is a young dude. His name is Nicolas Michel. But anyways, the family estate here was started in 1846, and it's now they're in their 6th generation of Michels making wine. So to be real, they've been making wine for some time. They know a thing or two about grapes and making wine. Though the estate history goes back quite a bit, the viticulture history is actually quite little recent. They first began as a rye and a wheat farm and a mill until the 1920s. And then that's when they started focusing on vineyard and viticulture. And then there's a small vineyard that was attached to the family plot that they started focusing on for income. 6 generations later, Nicolas Michel runs the family business now. It's this guy right here. And they farm 20 hectares organically, not certified. And his parents, Gabrielle and Walter, which are the folks right here, are in kind of semi-retirement, but they still have their hands in family business in the winery. From what I read on the internet, you can't believe everything you run, but he still does a lot of international trips and then has his hands in a lot of vineyard work. He likes being out in the field and farming. And the mom, Gabrielle, does a lot of, I guess there's a bed and breakfast that runs in the family property. And then she does a lot of bookkeeping, like a back end stuff, and then runs the family B&B. Nicolas' dad, Walter, took over the operations in 1985. And then he took the family business squarely on wine growing. So he moved away from all the other things and then focused on wine growing. Nicolas assumed the responsibility of the cellar and vineyards in 2007 after finishing his degree in enology. And then in 2015, Nicolas completely took over the day-to-day operations and responsibilities of the whole estate. And I don't know when this picture was taken, but Nicolas looks like he's fucking 16. So quality is the first and foremost priority here. They do what's called green harvesting here, and they're pretty aggressive about it. So in a lot of fine wine growing areas in the world, especially if they're working with the grape varieties that are quite vigorous in its yield and its growth, they will do this practice called green harvesting. They usually do right around in Northern Hemisphere, right around like August, like the end of summer or like in peak of the summer. When all these berries form, right, the fruits will flower and they will turn into fruit, and they will actually go around and clip off the unripened green berries. Whole idea to, and it reduces the yield, but the whole idea is that it concentrates all the energy from the vine is concentrated on the leftover berries that are hanging there, so you can put more concentration, complexity on those things. So I've never heard of somebody doing it this aggressively, but these guys green harvest half of their fruit, which is quite aggressive. So imagine, you're farming 20 hectares, which is not, nothing, like a drop in the bucket in the wine world. And then they're basically throwing away half of their yield every year in the chase of quality. So pretty aggressive, but because of that, they make good wines. All right, so what is this wine? This is organically farmed, 25-year-old vines of 50% Saint Laurent, which is the same thing as Saint Laurent in Austria, if you're familiar with that grape variety. Red grape variety, believed to be an offspring of Pinot Noir. And we don't know exactly, but it's believed to be Savagnin, related to Savagnin, which is the grape variety of Jura. And it's the third most popular red grape variety in Austria. Produces kind of this rich, full, dark wine, full of berries and plum, and it has this really velvety, smooth texture, which is really cool about Saint Laurent. So it's half of that, 50%. 35% is Müller-Thurgau. I mentioned that earlier. It's the most planted white grape variety, most planted grape variety in general, but it's white in Rheinhessen until Riesling took over in 2013. So there's a lot of Müller-Thurgau planted here in Rheinhessen. High yielding, dependable crossing between Riesling and another grape called Madeleine Royale. Have never tasted Madeleine Royale on its own, so I have no idea what that grape variety is like. But it produces this kind of like fruity, really youthful, enjoyable at youth kind of wine. Only downside of Müller-Thurgau is that it's not very high in acid. Naturally, it just doesn't have a whole lot of acid. And then the remainder, so 50% Saint Laurent, 35% Müller-Thurgau, and then 15% what Germans call Gelber Muscateller, which is essentially Muscat, what we know as Muscat. So white grape variety, again, if you've never had Muscat, I highly recommend you check it out. You may hate it, but for education purposes, you should definitely check it out. There's very unique. I mean, it's nothing that is that expressive and perfumed and floral like Muscat. So definitely check out some Muscat. So there's 15% of Muscat thrown in here as well. I'm actually surprised how not overly floral this is, considering there are 15% of Muscat in here. I do not like Muscat, and I seem to pick out Muscat quite easily. But the fact that this is quite imbalanced, I appreciate. Anyways, this is a co-ferment of all those three grapes. So one red variety, two white grape varieties, all thrown together and fermented together. All whole cluster, macerated for 24 hours with the stems and everything included. And then when we get to tasting it, we'll talk a little bit more about that whole stem inclusion and what it does. Spontaneous fermentation in temperature-controlled stainless steel tank for 6 weeks. Then it's bottled, unfiltered, unfined, just with a touch of sulfites is basically what we have here. So just to kind of draw a contrast from last 2 weeks, right? The first week was Provence, Mediterranean climate. Second week was in Castilla de Leon, which is continental, both very dry, very warm places. So both those wines had this kind of a body and ripeness and fullness to it. Now we are in Germany, way colder. I mean, savagely cold in the wintertime. Average temperature is just much lower. They struggle with the ripening of grapes here. There's, in those two places I mentioned last 2 weeks, the struggle or the challenge there is keeping freshness, the acid, because it's just so easy to over-ripen fruit there because so much warmth and as well as the sunlight. Here, the daylight is shorter because it's so much higher up in the north. It is cooler, so ripening is a hard problem here. But what it does is that, and we'll talk more about this when we're tasting it, you should notice first and foremost, the body of this wine is just way leaner. There's much more kind of direct tension and straightness to it. It's much leaner. There's less fat on this wine. And two, just the acid profile on this thing, it's just jumping out of the glass. Like the first thing I noticed on this wine when I first tasted it was the acid. And that's exactly what happens when you go to a cool climate rosé. And again, it's not that one is better than the other. It just all depends on your preference. I tend to go for much more these cooler climate rosés, this is what I like. But again, first 2 weeks, it's not that they're worse, but it's just a different style. And then also the production method is different here, right? The first 2 weeks first week was maceration. First week was saignée. Second week was a maceration with direct press. And then now we're at a co-ferment. So now we're also in a place where, even though we're in a place that is cooler and theoretically has a harder time ripening the grapes, yet the wine is darker in color, right? First 2 weeks, the color was just a blasé, just a touch blush. But here you get a lot more anthocyane, a lot more color compound here. Does that matter, right? Like when we get to tasting it, we'll talk a little bit more about that, what it does to the final style and profile of the wine. But clearly, there's a little bit more. This one got a 24-hour maceration as opposed to the last one was like 8 hours, I believe. So yeah, longer time of maceration. Does that matter? And then the conversation becomes, especially next week, we're going to talk more about this, especially moving up from here. At what point does it stop becoming rosé and does it become red, right? This is 24-hour maceration, but if you do this for 36 hours, then can you call it rosé? If you do it for 48 hours, then is that a light red? Where's that line? So yeah, that was the kind of like one of the priming questions that I wanted to kind of talk about in this month, which is, what exactly is rosé? How do we define rosé, right? Like this is one red grape and 2 white grapes just fermented together. Is that a rosé? Is that a white? Is that a red? Is that rosé? I don't know. So does it matter? All right. Any questions before you get into the wine? I get to tasting.
I have a question.
What's up?
The label says white wine. That's not a question.
Yeah?
That's an observation.
What does it say white wine?
Mine on the bottom, it says imported by, and then under imported by, it says white wine. Deutscher Landwein.
Savio Suarez Selections, New York, New York. And it says white wine. Yeah, well, clearly it's not. So, yeah.
I think my follow-up question to the statement that wasn't a question was if you understood why they would say that. But you don't.
They probably reused the back is what I would guess. Or they made a mistake and they're like, I don't want to reprint it. So they probably just used it.
All right. Well, good. That was less illuminating than I was hoping, but good.
That will be my guess. Anyways, who wants to take the appearance?
We will.
Excellent.
Sorry, the speaker just got weird. It is clear, maybe a little hazy.
Yeah, tiny bit.
So a little bit hazy.
Yeah, I mentioned this at the beginning of the call, but there's sediment in this bottle. This is unfiltered. And if you, at the bottom, at least in my bottle, at the bottom of the bottle, there's a bit of sediment there, and the rest of the wine is quite clear. I mixed mine up because I like little sediment. I don't mind the sediment. I don't like the sediment and what it does to the kind of texture of the wine and the flavor. But if you didn't shake this up, you kind of pour it straight from the top, this would probably be very clear. Because my first sip was very, very clear. But now that I've kind of shook it up, it's definitely not very, very clear. So
yeah,
depending on how agitated your bottle is, you'll probably have different call on this clarity. Intensity?
So this is for all wine, right?
Yeah.
So medium minus?
Yeah, I mean, this is like media. See, this is where it gets tricky, right? Like we talk about red wine being like be able to see through the middle as like way to tell intensity, right? But with a white wine, you can be able to see through all unless it's cloudy, right? You're going to be able to see through the middle.
But the label says this is a white wine. So.
Yeah. So I mean, do we apply that kind of red standard? Do we apply the white standard? But in general, like if you're going to say like rosé, yeah, I would say this is like if this is gonna be red, this is a medium minus. If it's like rosé, I would say this is like probably like a medium intensity. That's what I would say. So medium minus medium, depending on again, where do we draw the line in terms of rosé, right? Like is this what do you think the color is? What would you call the color?
Salmon.
Dark salmon? I don't know.
Like a dark, yeah.
A darker salmon? Pinky? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's like a ruby grapefruit. I don't know. What color is that?
Yeah, to me, this is actually closer to ruby than it is to salmon, right? Like to me, this looks more like a really light touch, light skin macerated red wine than it is rosé.
Anything else?
So yeah, I would still call this. I would personally call this rosé. I'm sorry, I'll call this a ruby. But there is some like a little bit like an orange kind of like a hue to it as well. So that kind of a orangey, salmony, ruby, that makes sense to me. So yeah. Again, these are the things. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what is a rosé, right? Like, is this a rosé or is this a light red? You tell me. Any other observations?
Whatever it is.
The legs don't matter. No bubbles.
But
What's that?
because of the acid, it almost feels fizzy.
It does, yeah, on
Yeah.
the tongue a little, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the bubbles necessarily in my glass, but I know that when I first tasted it, there's a little bit of a prickliness, a little dissolved CO2. Yeah. Cool. Let's get to the nose. You get to pick next person.
Oh, does anybody want to volunteer? Sara?
No, I want to do the taste. Can I volunteer for palate?
Okay.
Okay.
Also, your hair is kicking.
Oh,
girl.
thank
Dig
you.
it. It's very voluptuous tonight.
Thanks. I got a new volumizer. It's working.
Love it. A lot of volume there. Love it.
Yeah. But someone else is gonna do nose though, right? Someone else can volunteer for nose. Want to do palate?
Hi, Cecilia. Andrea.
Oh, God.
Your strategy.
You gotta pick a person.
I was like, Andrea, we're gonna volunteer to do the easy one. We could try
Wait,
palate
no,
or
nose.
nose, yeah.
Yeah, you guys want to do the nose too? Okay. All right,
doesn't-
let's do the nose.
Clean?
It smells clean.
Yes. Must
Yeah,
be.
this one is clean. This one is sound.
Good.
Intensity?
Like a
medium.
minus?
Oh,
No, I don't feel like I
is
don't.
your nose off the rim?
No, I can't smell it from here. But maybe my smeller's broken. I don't know. I had to like put my nose much closer.
I was behind, so we tasted the other two rosés from this one.
We've already
tried
tried a lot of
so
rosé.
sorry.
They're like, this tastes like tequila. I don't know. Mine is pretty expressive. Now mine is like,
Medium for
I
me.
feel
I
like-
think.
Maybe like medium minus. I'd be
Yeah.
closer.
I also have shitty wine glasses.
yeah, I don't know. Is everybody else's wine also feeling a little locked up? I don't know. I'm smelling mine like here, which is, what is that, like 2 inches?
Like an inch off the rim. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I call that high end of medium, low end of medium plus is what I'll call this. Yeah, it's like just at the borderline of calling medium plus. It's not quite at like 2 inches, but yeah, it's right around there. Somewhere between medium, lower end of medium plus, higher end of medium is kind of where I'm at. Aroma characteristics. What do you get?
I don't think I get any floral.
No?
Maybe a
like,
little rose.
maybe
Yeah,
like
I get a little floral. Not a lot, just a touch.
something-
Geranium.
Yeah, like a green, flower that smells very fresh and sort of green, like geranium or.
Yeah, I think geranium is an excellent call. Yeah. Any green food?
Maybe a little green apple, but like not.
Maybe,
I get a little like
maybe like green grape.
berry, pear kind of a deal going on here. Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's say the apple, but like more neutral, like a little perry or like a I'm calling it gooseberry, but it's more, there's definitely some like savory, like this is the whole cluster that I was telling you about, the kind of vine, the plant part of the vine coming through here. And gooseberry kind of has that little bit of that, like that piercing. So, but yeah, I'll call this pear for now. I'm not going to go as far as calling this gooseberry, but yeah, definitely get a little bit of pear. Any citrus?
I get grapefruit and lemon.
Grapefruit.
Yeah, there's definitely some citrus here for sure. Yeah, some lemon. I guess I'm like, yeah, grapefruit pith, grapefruit. Yeah, I think those are all excellent calls. Any stone fruit, tropical fruit?
I don't get any.
I don't get stone fruit.
Me neither. No stone fruit, no tropical. Any red fruit? Red and black?
A little strawberry.
Raspberry?
Yeah, there's like little red fruit here, strawberry, raspberry. I also get a little like pomegranate kind of a deal going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely some like red fruit going on here, like red berries, red red currant, raspberry, things like that for sure. Any black fruit?
I don't smell black fruit.
No. Yeah, me neither. This is mostly all red fruit. Character of the fruit, nature of the fruit. Is it fresh? Is it ripe? Overripe? Underripe?
Ripe to me.
Fresh and maybe underripe. There's like a green smell. I feel like.
Yeah. So it's, to me, the fruit itself doesn't feel underripe. I think fruit is very ripe, very fresh, not overripe, like it's perfectly ripe. Again, which is incredible feat on its own, knowing where this is grown, like knowing that this is grown at such a cold place that they're able to reach this level of ripeness with their fruit. Just speaks to their impeccable farming. But to your point, Andrea, there's definitely that whole cluster, that vine, planty, green savoriness going on here. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Like herbaceous, herbal, is that kind of what you're pointing out? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is like almost a vegetal quality.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Yeah, like to me, this almost reminds me of like if you ripped, like if you ever walk on a hike and just kind of like rip some like green leaves off on the side and that kind of green leafy kind of a thing. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like when you hull a strawberry, that smell.
Yeah, exactly. Back like the green, the white part of strawberry, for sure. 100%. Any herbal spices, rocks, anything like that?
Mineraliness. I feel like I smell like some
like peppery. It's a little peppery to me.
You get a little pepper, a little spice, yeah. And to your point, Andrea, I definitely get some rocks here for sure. Yeah, I do get some like a wet rock. Yeah, just some sort of like rockiness, mineral for sure. Any secondary, any tertiary?
No.
Me neither. This is still very fresh, very youthful, all kind of in the primary. But yeah, things you call out, a little bit of geranium, little green fruit, citrus for sure, the lemon, grapefruit. We got the red fruit going on here. That's the Saint Laurent kicking in right here with the pomegranate, red currant, strawberry, raspberry, that kind of stuff. And then really fresh and ripe fruit, but also there's this kind of like the vegetal green kind of savoriness with the rockiness, and Cecilia, you're getting a little pepper thrown in there as well. Cool, excellent. You get to pick the next person for the palette.
Well, you already had a
Sara. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Also, I have to say that was really delightful. I think you should always combine appearance and nose. Like that was really good for them to keep going. Like appearance is so short. I really enjoyed y'all's guesses.
Yeah, appearance gets it too easy.
Yeah.
I'm totally trying to go for the easy one.
I don't know. One of these days, I may have you do the whole thing from appearance to the conclusions. Take the whole thing.
You should mix it up. I feel like also that's fewer volunteers you need, which is a problem. We can admit it.
All right, let's do the palette. Let's do the sweetness.
It is dry.
Mm-hmm.
would say high acid.
I'm going all the way to
plus.
high acid, but definitely
Medium
close.
plus, sorry, medium plus.
Yeah, there's definitely good acid on this thing.
It's a lot.
Whole place. It's
I
just good
overshot.
stuff.
Medium plus. I do feel like there are some tannins on this.
Me
Maybe
too.
a medium low, perhaps. There's some grippiness on my tongue.
Yeah, there's a little bit. It's like low, medium minus at most. I would probably call this low if I was getting this on an exam. But yeah, there's definitely a little bit of grip here. Both the skins, right? I mean, it's 24 hours, not that long. But also there was a stem inclusion here. So there's the fact that the skin and the stems all included in the juice macerating. It probably picked up a little bit of that tannic phenolics. So yeah, I 100% agree. There's a textural component here, the tannic textural component. Alcohol.
Well, I feel a little tipsy. So I guess it's like 13.5.
Yeah? I'm going to say like 12.5. 12%.
Okay, well.
Yeah, again,
I had to
whole
pick like a
place.
3 and that was it. So maybe that's why I'm like, oh yeah, very strong.
Yeah. I mean, to you, does the alcohol like stick out for you with this one? Does it seem like a little?
No, it's just that I do feel, but I think that may be the late lunch, no dinner.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, with the German wines, you were rarely gonna see, especially. I mean, it's just too cold. It just doesn't develop sugar that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, 12 and a half is very, very normal for German wines. Body.
Okay, so I know at the beginning you said that it has like this interesting texture, but it does feel kind of lighter body to me. Maybe like medium minus.
Yeah, I'll call this like medium minus, leading on to like medium. I expected this to be even lighter than this, just given that there's a touch of I mean, it is 50% Saint Laurent, which is pretty had some weight in the thing, and the Muller Turgot doesn't have much body, but the Muscat also has quite a bit of body, depending on how hot or how ripe it is. But yeah, I wouldn't say this is like super light. I would say this is like a lower end of medium, higher end of medium minus. Is kind of like where I'm at that end of this. Moose, we don't have to talk about flavor intensity.
Medium plus. I feel like it really popped out. Like Leah asked me how it was, and I had like I hadn't tasted it yet. I had a real quick sip, and like immediately I was like, oh, it's like strawberry juice.
Yeah,
it's real strong.
Absolutely. Yep. I think that all the flavors are popping at this time. Medium plus. Yeah. Do you confirm everything that Cecilia and Andrea called out? Is there anything else that stick out?
I think it's about right. I feel like the grapefruit was a really good call. And then I do taste, I think, a lot more red fruit than you get on the nose. Especially like I said, like to me immediately that first sip tasted like strawberry juice, raspberries. It kind of tastes like a watermelon blow pop.
Ah, okay.
Like, or like a red flavor. Yeah, no, watermelon flavor blow pop. Like it just has a lot of like sweet red.
Yeah, the fruit profile of this thing is really ripe, really kind of sweet, but there's that acidity is there, one, but two, there's all that kind of like really savory kind of balance to this thing. I also, this may be because I shook mine up, and then if you haven't shaken your,
I did not, I did.
If you haven't shaken yours up, and if you're at the end of the bottle, or if you want to kind of shake it up to kind of try it, I do think sediment gives it a little salinity. I think there's a little bit of saltiness that I get on this thing. It's not like super salty, but I do get a little bit of salinity.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely some salinity, the minerality.
Exactly.
And like in the grapefruit too, I feel gives it kind of like a little bit of tartness.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, it's like an incredible balance between really ripe, fresh fruit, but all like citrus and acid, but also like this vegetable,
herbaceous
savoriness, and the rocky minerality. Like it's just kind of like very harmonious and well balanced wine. Do you get any secondary or tertiary?
No.
Yeah, me neither. This is all in the primary right here. we'll also say there's a lot there. There's that crunch factor, right? This wine, it's got that acid,
Yes,
it's got that
I
like
love that
CO2. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it just kind of like pops. It's like a biting into a like a really fresh apple, like at the Pinke season. It's like crunchy. All that.
Yeah.
Finish.
That's
How long is
the
the
word
finish?
at restaurants. That usually gets me what I want. If I'm like, I like a crunchiness in my red, that usually gets
There you go. There you go.
Okay, sorry, what? Oh, bring it home. Oh, the finish.
Finish, yeah.
Wow, it's got some legs. I'm just kidding. It's like medium plus, I think. It's still
Yeah,
going.
it's right in the medium to medium plus for me, like lower than medium plus, higher than medium. But yeah, being generous, let's call it medium plus, but somewhere around there. All right, bring it home for us. How good is this?
I loved it. Okay, but I guess it's not very complex. Let's see.
Is it balanced?
Yes.
Concentration? What do we call it? On the nose and the palate?
Both medium plus.
Yeah, we call it medium plus intensity. Complexity. I mean, we mentioned.
They're all primary, but there was a
Yeah.
lot going on. So
Yeah,
I'll
we
give it
mentioned-
like medium plus on that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as a medium plus.
It
I'd
was
probably
just
give
so
it a
good,
very
but
strong medium.
Such good
Yeah.
examples of each of those flavors. I want to
No, totally. I mean, it's a lot. It's got quite a few different things going on, which I really appreciate and like about this wine. So medium, very high end of medium, low end of medium plus, and then the length we called it
medium plus.
yeah, between medium plus. So we got balance, medium plus intensity, high end of medium, complexity, medium to medium plus, finish. So when you're taking average, kind of all of that, you're
Very
landing,
good.
yeah, you're landing like right between basically medium and medium plus. But us being generous tasters, we're gonna call it very good.
I really like this one. I remember us having it the last time. Whenever I see it out, I get it and impress people with it. Like, I love this one. It's so good. I was delighted when I saw it.
Yeah, like, oh, it's a crunchy co-ferment. Like, I'm sorry, what did you just say?
I did not say any of that. I just like the reason my friends let me continue to pick the wines is I don't talk about it. They just let me do it.
Perfect.
Okay.
No, that's a good friend to have. Yeah. You don't want to over nerd this thing out. Would you age this one?
Would I what? Age it?
Age.
No, everything's so fresh.
Yeah, exactly. This is not meant to be aged. There's a good backbone, right? Acid backbone. I don't think it's gonna fall apart. But what I love about this wine is the freshness of all that fruit. Like I don't want any of that freshness to go away. Like yes, maybe complexity may go away and maybe go up, but I don't think it's gonna make this wine.
Who cares?
Yeah,
I want to
exactly.
have
Drink it now.
in today's weather. Yeah.
Exactly. Drink it now while it's fresh and youthful and
I should
vibrant.
have had it 6 hours ago. I already waited too long.
But yeah, this is a kind of like, yes, could it age? Will it fall apart? No. Is the wine gonna get better? No. Drink it now kind of wine. Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Good job, everyone. Did everybody like this one? Did anybody not like this one? Just out of curiosity.
Just my spouse.
Sorry, what'd you say, Dave?
My spouse made a face.
Ah, okay.
I thought it was, I don't love it.
Okay.
And I remember
Tell me
not
more.
loving it. I remember I didn't love it last time either. And I was curious to see if I would like it this time because I feel like my palate has evolved so much. But I don't know. And
It's also a different wine. Last time we
okay.
featured this, it was much shorter maceration. It's much lighter in color. It was even higher acid. Like there's so much acid last time. It was almost like borderline too much acid for me.
Yeah.
This time,
Whoa.
this time there's just more fruit. There's just a lot more. Just to kind of it was built out a lot more. It's not just fucking laser focus acid.
I will say I like it a lot more now that it's been open for almost an hour and that it's warmer than I did in the beginning. I kind of am getting more like the tomato leaf thing or whatever we decided that was.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think the other thing is that I don't dislike it, but I like the flavor much less than I like the label and the name, Pinke. And like, I think that with the label and the name Pinke, I like really want to like love this. So this becomes, this wine becomes my whole personality, and I bring it to every party, and I like become the Pinke person.
Yeah.
Sarah, you get me. I see that you get me. And because I don't love it, it's like kind of extra disappointing to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but I don't
It wouldn't be
dislike
sincere. It wouldn't be sincere. It's not for you. But
exactly.
I
know.
It's very pleasing.
I mean, maybe,
yeah,
maybe Allison, maybe you are a warmer climate rosé person. You know,
maybe I am. Oh my gosh, I'm becoming so complicated.
Yeah. I feel like normally we agree, so I'm shocked.
You know, we're not all created equal here.
People are complicated.
Okay. Now, let's play everybody's favorite game. How much do you think this wine is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf?
Should I put my finger on the scale by telling you everyone how much I saw this wine cost at St. Vincent last week? Because I would. It was in like their fridge
you can put out there. That's a restaurant price, but yeah, sure.
So well, but I don't know if it was, because it was like in their fridges where you can go and pick out a bottle. Like it wasn't like it wasn't.
So there's a retail section. Yeah.
Yeah, and so in the retail section, it was $50.
Their stuff is the same price, whether it's on the menu or in.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Okay.
Wait,
right.
Really? Their retail
so
section
maybe,
is the same?
maybe if you
I've
buy
never
retail,
bought wines there on the retail section.
Yeah, no, it's the same price, because otherwise people just buy it and bring it to the table.
Oh, that's
okay. There you go. There you go. Like, I thought it was maybe something like a Girl in the Vine. If you buy something retail and drink it there, you just have to like add $10 or something like that to it. But yeah, no, it was $50.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. 22, 22, 29, 25, 29, 35. Okay. 20, 22, 25, 28, 24, 26. Okay, I think their mask is incredible. Oh, I think there was meant to be a private.
That's not about wine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, 24.20. I mean, Alice, you're right in there. This would be $19.50 on a retail shelf. So, I mean, for under $20,
it could be my personality.
Yeah, like this is a.
It could be my personality.
Yeah,
for $20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I could be flexible. Yeah, I could be flexible. It's very pretty. Yeah. All right. I'm rethinking this.
This is one of those like crowd pleasing wine. Like I feel like there's not anything that's like offensive here or very hard, like acquired.
The challenge, Woong, is that are they going to change it every year? I mean,
no,
I think the challenge is if you. Okay.
I haven't seen it get this dark as much, but this year they got really dark. But I kind of like it. I actually like it this way. I think it's more well-rounded. I like the last year's past vintages as well, but it was just so. I mean, it's just so much acid. Like it was so sharp. I mean, I liked it for that reason, but yeah, I mean, it was a lot. It was like a salted strawberry lemonade, but like 99% lemon, 1% strawberry. But this time, I feel like there's a lot more fruit. There's a little more generosity, a little more body built into it, which makes it a little more relevant. Cool. Any questions? Any thoughts? Any disagreements, concerns, grievances?
Yeah, I have a question that goes back to the beginning when you mentioned Blue Nun.
Yeah,
I remember it being a Liebfraumilch.
Yeah, that too.
But I didn't see Liebfraumilch on the Germany map. Don't they make it?
Liebfraumilch is also where it's made in Rheinhessen. Liebfraumilch is a style. It's not a region. Yeah, so that was also made in Rheinhessen. So yeah, both that and Blue Nun were both made in Rheinhessen. And again, that's why to this day, when American producers, American consumers see Rheinhessen, I mean, let's be real, they don't even check it's Rheinhessen. They just see Germany. But they're like, oh, no.
Is Liebfraumilch a kosher wine? I thought it was kosher.
I mean, it was really popular. And celebrities advertised Blue Nun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a reuniti.
Terrible stuff.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's honestly to this day, that's why it's so hard to sell Riesling in this country. Like it's also the same reason why like George Dubois ruined Beaujolais in America with this like Beaujolais Nouveau. It's the same thing. Like the Blue Nun Leaf shit that like ruined Riesling for American public. So
And my sister loved that stuff. She said she loved how it smelled like cheese, and she would drink it by the gallon.
smells like cheese.
It really did. I don't know if you ever had this stuff. It's terrible.
I've had Blue Nun, but I've
Absolutely
never
terrible.
had. Yeah.
It smells like cheese.
Huh?
Bad cheese, like strong cheese.
Like
Yeah.
blue cheese? I like a blue cheese.
But it was cheap.
Yeah,
It was really
it's
cheap.
not
I also have a
super
question.
cheap. Yeah.
What's up, sir?
You mentioned that Muscat tends to have a heavy body, right?
Not always. Not always.
No.
It all depends on the ripeness. You can ripen quite a bit because it just has naturally really high sugar. So if you let it hang for a long time and ripen for a long time, so if you like harvest it late, you can have like really robust body. But you can also harvest it earlier, and then you can produce much lighter body Muscat as well. So
Is that? Am I very bad at paying attention? Is that only true for Muscat, or is that true for everything? That's what makes the
in
body
general it's
how
true, but
early you pick it.
yeah.
Eight.
In true, that is generally true, right? Like there's more sugar, you're just gonna have more body, right? Because all that sugar, either if you keep
More
that
sugar
sugar,
per body, or how big the grape is. Is it the same thing?
no, it's not the size of the grains. It's the amount of sugar. Because either the sugar itself will make the wine viscous and give it body, if you're talking about like a dessert wine, for example. Or if you ferment it out dry, it converts into alcohol, which is glycol, and glycol has that kind of like viscous kind of a thing. It's like a coolant. If you ever get like a car coolant, that's glycol.
I don't know what the fuck.
What, you've never like put coolant in your car? Like in your
I
radio?
have a
Oh,
car.
okay.
That's why I live here.
Yeah, okay.
Driving. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, anyways, that's glycol. So yeah, it's basically.
It's also used to like in building cooling systems too.
Mhm.
We had an epic glycol.
I mean, I guess it's in the name.
We had an epic glycol leak on one of my projects. It's like a infamous, yeah, and I hate the word glycol as a result.
What? Glycol is your trigger word.
I mean, also, I don't know if you,
Antifreeze.
yeah, antifreeze. Yeah, another one. I don't know if you ever remember talking about this during Austria month or when we're talking about Austrian wines. But in the 80s, there was a glycol controversy where some producers were caught dumping glycol into wines just to build up body because it just got so watery. They were just, it was all about quantity, not quality. So they were just picking for just amount of juice they could get out of grape berries. And then just to build out that body, they would dump glycol and they got caught. So for a long time, Austrian wine sale just plummeted globally.
No, I think I missed. I mean, I have those wines, but I think I have not. I have not watched it. Okay.
This wine is getting
Do
saltier.
people try to make sweeter wines have a heavier body for any reason?
It's sugar. I mean, it's
It's sugar,
viscosity, right? Yeah, like syrup. If you ever taste just syrup, it's very viscous, right? Because there's so much sugar in it.
Yeah. That Thanksgiving dessert wine was like like vinegar. That was good.
Yeah, that exactly. That PX sherry. I mean, that shit was like so thick. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully this time it'll absorb. We'll find out.
Yeah, there you go. Any other questions? So now that you guys had 2 warmer climate rosés and 1 cool climate rosé, clearly Allison liked the warmer climate rosés. Anybody else? Do you guys like this one over the last 2? Which one is your favorite, I guess?
And then this one.
So as people that have drunk 3 tonight, well, not 3.
You're the experts. We can only have
I like this. I mean, yeah, you're doing the true side-by-side comparative tasting tonight.
I haven't had the first one either.
We did it out of order, and we did number 2, then number 1, and then now this one.
Okay.
I think my favorite's this one. Andrea's number 2.
The second one. Yeah. And then this one. like, and then the
Got it.
first one. The first one was
Yeah.
very like a rosé. Like it, I mean, I'm not a wine expert, but if I tasted the first one blindfolded, I would immediately know it was a rosé. These two are more interesting to me,
Yeah.
like typical rosé.
I
The
mean,
first one,
yeah,
but it was like it was just very rosé, like what I think of as a rosé tasting.
yeah.
like.
First one is a Provence rosé, which is exactly basic Betches fucking brunch rosé, except just a better version of it. So yeah.
But the middle two so far, I
Yeah.
really like. We
Yeah.
both.
I might open the last one before she goes, just to so we can get.
Damn, you guys have time on out, right, huh?
We
I
have
like
not.
it.
We have not killed all the bottles. So.
Hey, no
Really?
judgment here. No judgment. I mean, on that note, I will also turn off the recording. So